Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, January 14th. Sorry about this, Jack. The more time I think I have in the morning, the more I lose track of time and I get behind. I don't know why that is. So looking back at yesterday's action, right? It was eh, we got a little bit lower on both of the indexes from the overnight range, then kind of went back up into the overnight range into close. But basically not too bad of a distribution there. Just kind of you know uh, auctioning off up and down, right? You can see that um, on balance, the Nasdaq was a little bit stronger than the ES if you look at just the overnight positioning to the bell trading positioning. Um, what we had here was the Qs got up to almost 630, right? 629.51. The SPY got up to 697.30 in the overnight, right? Both of those highs were made in the overnight and not taken out. If you can see then, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then, so on and so forth. And then if you look, we had a large gamma yesterday, which is a weird spot for it at 69.85 on the cash market, right? That was the high when we, opened, and then you just kind of went straight down to the 1 day expected low move, by tosses calculations for the options market, looking at the previous day's data and close, and then just kind of meandered back up and towards the middle of the action. Not a lot going on, to be honest with you. Just kind of, yeah. And if you look at where, these shaded boxes are, this is value area from uh, Monday going into Tuesday, right? So we just pretty much traded uh, that area, right? The ES probed and tested a little bit more below it, and then the Nasdaq was, basically contained within it. So let's look at the numbers this morning. So this is I'll double check here, but I think that was it for the news for the week. Uh, that's scheduled anyways. As we know, there's lots of unscheduled headlines that cross all the time, but we had core PPI come in at 0. It's supposed to come in at zero point 0.2, so that is a beat. And then retail sales come in at 0.5%. It was expected at 410, so that was a beat, right? The U.S. is held up by consumers, right? So the consumer is still strong. That's what it's telling you. Inflation's a little bit lower. Unfortunately, what that could end up meaning is that the Fed has less reasons to act. So I haven't looked at the probabilities. Let's pop that up real quick uh, and see what we think about that. So, 97% chance that on the 28th we'll be at 3.5 to 375, and then it doesn't look like until, June that you'll get another one, and then September is what's priced in at this point in time. So as we look at the rest of the week, right, with the scheduled news, uh, really just the unemployment claims tomorrow, nothing else that's really a red star, and then Friday is just dead. So, right, we've had the news for the week that's scheduled, and as we look at where we're at, you could, pretty much just draw an uptrend channel here that starts, right around the first of the year. And then, we hit the tops, we go back towards the bottom. So in the overnight session, we kind of hit the bottom of this channel. So think of today, I almost named the video as limbo, like the game, they got the bar out, you go under the bar, and they keep moving it down to see how low you can go, and without losing your balance there. Um, that's kind of what we're at now. How low can you go? Because we're not getting any follow through to the upside. The Nasdaq has still not broken out of this pattern, right? The ES uh, has had, a look above, right? It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to look above, and it swept the liquidity from the previous day's high, had absolutely no follow through, and then coming back down into the channel. So we could get, you know, a little bit deeper of a pullback here. We'll see, is what I'm looking at. But uh, as I said on Monday, when we come into the session, right, uh, the market was on sale. Well, the market's on sale again this morning, so we'll see if there's buyers that step in again. Interestingly enough, we are at the one-day toss expected, low end of the range for status quo. So we'll see if today is status quo or not, because if this is the low end of the range, not that we can, absolutely trade the top, but the top is up at 26,094 for the Nasdaq and up around 70.39 for the ES, so that would be above the previous day's highs. That would be an engulfing candle if we were to open here now. Uh, bullish candle going across yesterday's action. And then as we look at, and really the title of my video is, are we just range bound now with the cash market between 6,900 and 7,000? If you look at the sum of all the options on the sheet, you can see that there's a nice floor at 6,900 and there's a nice lid potentially at 7,000. So we could just be meandering between those 2 points until we get conviction one way or the other, or until the option traders move the bars for us, right? But that's the bars that we have at this point in time. Looking at the SPY, so the SPY closed yesterday at 693. We're trading 691. So right here, so fair value for me is still 690. I would say to 690. You got agreement up to 695 for sure, 696. But really, if you look at all these options, 690 to 700 is still a fair game, and that's pretty much this range that we're looking at. That cash. This is will be a little bit higher. It'll be probably like 69. 15 to 69 or 7,012 or something on the cash market, this same range, but that's kind of where we're at. So anything in there, fair game. We do have on the Qs today for the week, right at 627. We've got quite a bit of gamma. So that you have to watch when we get up there if that's going to be the lid or not. Uh, right now, the Qs closed yesterday at 626. We're currently trading 622, basically. So we're right at the bottom end of this range. So getting back up into and above 625 is really what the Qs need to get at. And if we're going to be status quo, we're going to trade 625 to 627. Uh, and that would be pretty much around where we traded yesterday. So we'll see if it's trapped that, this is overhead supply, if you will, and we go back down. But if you look at the weekly up here, getting down below 620 is going to be a little bit difficult. That would still be about 85 NQ handles from where we are right now. So we're trading 25,745. So that would be, right around 25,665 or so, 660. So keep that in mind that, that's probably your floor for the day, and your ceiling is probably 620. 6.5 to 627. We'll see, when we get up that way. So really what I'm watching for is to see if we get any conviction, right? We've had some small sequences done. I'll be curious to see what Jack's looking at. But for the auctions, right, we keep having these strange auctions where we got little mini auctions inside of the big auction from the previous day. So we got, 69, 69, let's put it there, uh, to right around 7,005 is an auction. Then you got, just a little bit, up to 715. Then you got that one day expected low move. If you squeeze it down, you could get down to 69.35. But keep watching this cash market over here, the SPX. Again, I think that we tagged right at 69.25. If the cash market were to be open in the overnight session, that's pretty much where we bottomed out, is at 69.25. So if we do lose that overnight low and the VIX is rising, and the VIX is, basically on highs for the overnight session here, uh, we could get down another 25 points. I would say you really want to watch 15 more points underneath the overnight low, because that would probably be right around where that options is uh, for that 690. Uh, so keep that in mind. Maybe only 12 points under on the ES is where I'd really kind of watch to see what happens on the lower side. So we'll see what Jack's looking at. But remember, if this is just status quo, we don't have any real scheduled catalysts the rest of this week. So we could just be, ready to float back up into value again, once again today. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.